Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good
evening, sir.
I'll-
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Okay,
evening,
so
sir.
that means I am audible to everybody.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, let's wait for half a minute more and allow more people to join, and then we'll start. Okay, I guess we'll start because participants will keep joining, and we cannot go on endlessly waiting for everybody. So once again, warm welcome to everybody and very good evening. And this topic, that is the subject marketing management, module 1 to 6 is what we are now going to cover in this session. Although the session is scheduled for 1.5 hours, that considering the number of topics that we are going to cover, it is possible that we may extend the time a little, but as far as possible, we'll try to cover everything within the stipulated time. While I'm speaking on the various topics, all the participants are free to raise their hands, stop me, interrupt me, and ask your questions if and whenever you have any doubt, any query, any particular concept you want better clarity or to be explained again. Please feel free to ask me, raise your hands, and interrupt. Okay. So yeah, Shweta, you seem to have raised your hand. Is there something you want to ask? Or is it by mistake? Because that also happens from time to time. Okay, guys, we'll start anyway, and the forum is open for everybody. Okay, we'll start with core concepts of marketing. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, we must understand that marketing is an activity which is required to be done by all kinds of organizations. In fact, all activities like marketing, the finance, HR, operations, everything comes into play in any kind of an organization, any kind of an activity that you do. Need not necessarily be applicable only to business organizations or manufacturing companies. Even charitable organizations, trusts, NGOs, okay, who conduct some social work, some people-centric activities, environment-related issues, government or constitution-related legal issues. All these organizations, they need to do marketing because finally, every organization needs finance, every organization needs human resources, talent, expertise, and some objectives which need to be achieved. And for that, you need to solicit support, cooperation, association, collaborations with so many other kind of people, other organizations, etc., etc. So for everything, you need to communicate. You need to tell the people around you, the world around you, what you are doing, why you are doing, what is the objective, and in what way your work is beneficial for the people, for the society. Similarly, if you are running a business, then whatever product or service that you are offering to the public, the world outside needs to know about it, because unless and until people become aware about your products, its specific benefits, whatever other services that you offer, and they need to understand it, they need to feel that it is indeed really beneficial and it is going to add value to their lives, their work, you are not going to be able to sell it. So understanding the customers, understanding their requirements, accordingly you design your products and services, and you tell the world about it, your product, about services, why it is better, why it should be purchased. So all that involves marketing. Now here I also need to clarify, because there are so many misconceptions, wrong notions about the concept of marketing, guys. Many people, they confuse marketing with sales, whereas sales and marketing are two different activities. Yes, they do go hand in hand. They work together. In fact, in some cases, sales can be said to be part of overall marketing activities. Okay, but then we need to understand that sales is different, marketing is different. Secondly, many people confuse between marketing and advertising or branding. People seem to think that marketing is the same as advertising and branding. Okay, again, advertising, that is the communication with the world outside, is part of the overall marketing function. It's a small part of the overall marketing function. Okay, so the marketing concept, it encompasses, it includes so many different activities and being conducted at the same time in close coordination by different teams, but then the overall ultimate objective is common, right? So we will elaborate more about what all marketing includes and what are the challenges and what are the specific skill sets required, right? So core concepts of marketing. First, we need to understand needs, wants, and demands, because when we start a business organization or even an NGO, the objective is to fulfill certain requirements. There are certain gaps in the society, in the markets, and we need to fulfill those gaps. Okay, so quickly, can somebody tell me here what is needs, what is want, and what is demand? Anybody?
Sir, it's a basic requirement, whatever we direct to some specific direction.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about needs?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So need is, once again,
it's a basic requirement, sir.
Basic requirement, like
whatever we want to demand, like that.
No. What I mean is, or what you are trying to say actually is, need is something that we require for our survival. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Like, for example, when one feels hungry, so one needs food. One feels thirsty, one needs water. So these are our needs. If you are feeling cold, you need clothing. Okay, so that's the need. This is necessary for our survival. If we don't get food, if we don't get water, we are likely to die. So that's what we need. Now, what is want?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So need, as you explained, it is basic requirements like food, shelter, and clothing. Want, something which can be avoided if it is not actually needed. I mean, that is something which we can do without.
This is something that a person desires.
Desires,
say,
yes.
For example, you feel thirsty. What you need is water. What you want is a Coke.
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what you are asking for is your want. Right? Okay, yes. So you need to go to your work. Now, for that, you need to walk on the street. And of course, it's the streets are very hot because it's summer, or there are lots of stones and nails lying on the roads, and they might hurt you. So what you need are shoes, okay, or a chappal, okay. But what you want is Nike, okay, something that is expensive. This is what you want. Okay, so that's the difference between a need and a want. Now, what is demand?
So can we say a need becomes want when we choose it?
Yeah, if you are particular about some particular thing that you want to have. Okay, now, of course, suppose for your work purpose, you need a smartphone. Now, there are so many choices. Okay, for your work, for your business, for your job, you need a smartphone, because that way you'll be able to communicate with your associates, with your colleagues, with your customers better. Okay, now what you need is a smartphone. What you want is an iPhone.
Right.
Okay, now what is demand? What is the difference between want and demand?
Demand, I think it is created by the sellers. It is the
Well,
choices.
if somebody has studied economics, then demand is one of the earliest, first and foremost definitions that we learn in economics. Can somebody remember what is?
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good
Yes,
evening,
please.
sir.
Good evening.
Sir, can we elaborate demand, wants and needs as a roti, kapda and makan?
No, roti, kapda, and makan all are what we need.
Okay.
These are what everybody needs. This is what we can't live without.
Okay.
Okay. Want
Yeah.
is something that is, branded, or something that is exclusive. Okay, now what you need is a small house. That's all. That will fulfill your need. But what you want is a 3 BHK penthouse.
Okay.
Okay. But what is demand?
So, sir, demand is need creates demand.
Well, not necessarily.
Sir, demand is what we can afford.
Okay. That's close enough.
The request for specific product.
Yes,
Yes,
but as she said, something that you can afford, something for which you have the money. Okay.
So exchange that happens
for example,
between...
let me explain. Now, for example, I dream of owning a Mercedes Benz. Okay, what I actually have is a Maruti Wagoner, but I dream of having a BMW, but I can't afford it. So I only want it, but I can't demand it, because if I demand it, I need to have the money to buy it. So demand is the desire to buy and the ability to buy. When these two come together, that is demand. The desire and the ability to pay is together is demand. Okay, so just the desire to own something is not demand. When you have the willingness to pay for it, willingness and ability to pay for it, then it is demand. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Okay, so a person like me dreaming of owning a BMW is not demand, it's just a want. But someone else who is a multimillionaire and he has the money, he can pay one and a half crore to buy that car, then when that person desires it, then that is demand. Okay, so now we are clear about the difference between needs, wants, and demands. Needs are the basic needs, things that you need for your survival. Want is what you desire, but may not necessarily be able to buy it. Demand is when you have the desire plus the ability to and the willingness to pay for it. That is demand. Okay, now we move on. What is market? Now, again, we need to be very, very clear about what is meant by market in management. Okay, what we generally in our day-to-day lives, what we understand by market is a collection of shops at one particular place. That is what we call market. In fact, many people who go to buy things over there, they say, I'm going for marketing, which is wrong. Okay, that is not marketing, that is shopping, or that is purchasing, but that's not marketing. Okay, just going to the market is not marketing. Marketing concept is very, very different from that. So in our day-to-day lives, generally public understands market as some place where there are lots of shops and lots of sellers, and where people can go and buy certain things. In MBA, in management, the concept of marketing is, concept of market means customers, all your customers, or all these people, okay, with whom you are communicating, for whom you are making your products, they are the market. So they may not necessarily be collected at one particular place. They may be scattered all over the country. They may be scattered all over the world. So that is your market. In marketing management, the meaning of market is customers, all the customers put together. Okay. Next comes the concept of exchange. In marketing, finally, the objective of marketing is exchange. You give something and you take something in exchange for that. So you're offering a product or a service in exchange for the price that the customers pay. So there is always an exchange in every business. It's a give and take. Okay. And whenever an exchange takes place, ideally, both the concerned parties should feel that they have benefited from it. The moment one of these feels that they have been shortchanged, what I mean is they have not got a good deal, they have been cheated, okay, or rather they have paid more than what they have actually got, then that is bad marketing. Good marketing means your customers should feel that, or you should feel satisfied that he or she has received more value I'm telling you, more than what they have paid for. Then the customer will be happy, and that is the objective of all marketing activities. Next is value of satisfaction. Just now I spoke about value. Value can be anything. It is the benefit that the product is providing to the customers in many ways. For example, guys, now everybody, I'm sure everybody here have certain gadgets in their houses, certain equipments like a refrigerator, washing machine, microwave oven. Okay, maybe many of you even have vacuum cleaners. Okay, now why do you buy these things? Why do you buy a refrigerator? Why do you buy a washing machine? Why do you buy a television? Anybody?
In order to make our lives easier, our day-to-day work.
Very good. Okay. A refrigerator makes many things convenient. It helps you store certain perishable items for a longer period. That way you can save money, because then you are not under pressure to consume whatever you have purchased before it gets expired, or before it decays into something that cannot be consumed. Okay, so when you buy a refrigerator, you can store milk, you can store vegetables and all the other things, so which can be preserved over a longer time. So that way you save money. That is more convenient. It saves you the hassle of cooking and warming up things again and again in order to preserve them. Right? You buy a washing machine so that your activity of washing clothes becomes easier. Okay, and you don't have to yourself do all the washing with your hands, because that way it tires you. At the same time, it also takes up your time. So if you buy a washing machine, it will reduce your physical labor. At the same time, it will also save your time. All you need to do is put your clothes in the washing machine and add the detergent, and then you can just start the machine and go to do whatever work you're doing, or attend some lecture, or complete your work. Okay, so what you're saving is time, right? So when you consider the price that you're paying for the washing machine, you are considering all these efforts that are going to be saved, and all the way your life is going to be much easier, much more, the time that you're going to save, which you can utilize for your work, or for leisure, for pleasure, for entertainment, or whatever. Okay, so this is how you calculate the value for money that you're getting. For that, okay, for whatever price you're paying, against that, what value you are getting. Now, why do people buy a Mercedes Benz when there are much cheaper cars available in the market? There are cars which are available at 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs, 5 lakhs also. But still, there are some people who pay 1 crore, 1.5 crore to buy a Mercedes Benz, to buy a Jaguar, to buy a BMW. Now, all that the car does is carry you from one place to another, which is something that even a Maruti Alto can also do. Okay, so why do some people insist on moving around only in a BMW, which is so costly? Anybody?
Sir, to satisfy their desires.
Yeah.
For comfort.
So what is the value? What is the value that
For comfort.
Yeah, well, I'm sure
it's a customer satisfaction, sir.
Luxury car.
Luxury car, but what is the value? See, even an Alto is comfortable.
Safety measures. Safety.
Okay, yes, safety.
For better performance.
Safety, comfort. Okay, high tech.
Standard of living.
Yeah. See, the biggest thing is
it's personal satisfaction, sir.
personal satisfaction, but where does it come from?
Meeting our achievements.
Yes,
It
you
comes from the
are
person.
correct. See, when you are driving around in a BMW or in a Mercedes Benz, there are so many people outside on the street who are looking at you with admiration. They feel that the person who owns this car must be really a very successful, rich person. Okay, somebody who is, at a very high position. So people look at you with admiration. They look at you with respect. And that is
for social standards, sir.
Correct. It gives you a status. It gives you a higher, self-esteem. It gives you pride. That is the value that you are getting. And that is what people are paying for. Guys, this is marketing. Okay, this is what we should understand as marketers. What value am I giving to my customers? Is it just utility, that is carrying the person, providing transportation, carrying the person from one place to another? Or is it some kind of a status, admiration, envy? Some people feel great, some people feel pride when they see their neighbors, their friends being jealous at what you own. Okay, if I own a BMW, my friends, my neighbors, they will feel jealous. That will give me immense pleasure. So for that, I don't mind paying 1.5 crore. Okay, because that's the value I see in it. Yes, you're saying personal?
Personal satisfaction. If someone is
satisfaction, correct. Okay, so that is what we are talking about. As marketers, we must be very clear about what I am offering to my customers. So the marketing manager of BMW or Mercedes-Benz, they are very clear about it. I am offering luxury. I am offering status. Okay, a much higher status. That's what I am offering. I'm not offering just a mode of transportation. When you are selling a Maruti Alto, then you are selling just transportation. When you are selling some motorcycle, you are providing some means of transportation. But when you are selling a BMW, you are selling pride, you are selling status, you are selling dignity. Okay, so that is value. Right. Next, competition. That is another factor that we always need to study, understand, and deal with. Okay, what are my competitor? Who is my competitor? Again, for example, for Mercedes-Benz, although Maruti also makes cars, Hyundai also makes cars, Mercedes also makes cars, but is Maruti the competitor for Mercedes?
No.
No.
Correct.
No.
Hyundai and Maruti are competitors, but Mercedes and Maruti are not competitors. For Mercedes, BMW is the competitor.
Audi
is the competitor. Yes. So
Jaguar.
We need to be very clear with whom I am competing. Okay, because when you are talking about competition, that means you and your competitor, they are targeting the same set of customers. Okay, so the customers are different. Maruti's customers are different. BMWs and Mercedes-Benz customers are different. Okay, so you need to know who my competition is. And why do you need to know? Because then you need to keep an eye on what your competitor is doing, what kind of products they are coming up with, what kind of advertising strategy they are coming out with, what kind of pricing strategy they are following. So accordingly, you need to prepare your own strategies. Okay, so competition. Next is integrated marketing. Today, guys, we are living in a world where marketing has taken so many different forms. Okay, because now we are living in a digitally connected world. We are living in the world of the internet, okay, websites, social media. Okay, there's so many things. So now brands are communicating with their customers at different levels. They are, on one hand, they are advertising on television, okay, and on hoardings on highways and on traffic junctions. So those modes of advertising continue to be, even 50 years back, 100 years back also they were there. Okay, so radio, television, outdoors, everything continues to be used. But now today a new dimension that has been added is the digital media. Okay, so and there the strategies are different. The way digital media is evolving and the way different technologies are emerging. Then today you have, earlier till 10 years back, you only had your website and then you tried SEO, SMO to increase the traffic towards your website. But now today you have very powerful social media platforms, and you have technologies like chatbots and artificial intelligence. Okay, so the marketing that is being done is on so many different levels and so many different platforms at the same time. Okay, and the methods are different. The way you advertise on TV is not the same as the way you advertise on social media, because in social media it is interactive. There you can actually talk to your customers, answer their queries. Okay, that's not what happens on television. So this is what we mean by integrated marketing, and we will talk about it in greater detail later. Okay, so these are the main concepts in marketing that we need to be very, very clear about. Now we talk about product. Now quickly, a product is anything that satisfies a want or a desire. People have a requirement. Okay, people have some problems, and companies, manufacturers, businessmen, they come out with some solutions to those requirements. Okay, so a washing machine was created because people needed some technology whereby washing task can be done quickly, fast, more efficiently. Okay, and whereby people may save their time as well as physical efforts. So that was the requirement which was fulfilled by the washing machine. Right, people needed to commute from one place to another quickly for work, for business. Okay, so there were manufacturers who created automobiles for that. So these are the different types of products which fulfill certain wants. Now there are three levels of products. First is the core product. This is the basic product, the core essential benefit for which the customer buys the product. Say for example, customer buys a car. A car is basically purchased for transportation purpose. Okay, to commute from one place to another. That's the basic function that a car performs. It carries you from one place to another. Okay, now what is a core product for an automobile, for a car? It's just four wheels, an engine, a steering wheel, brakes, maybe a gearbox, right, and lights. This is the core product. And yes, of course, the seats. Okay, because that's where, otherwise where will you sit? Okay, so the seats, the engine, the basic body, the lights, the steering wheel, and the four tires, and this is the core product. Now generally, what is the actual product that you get? So it's a very well decorated kind of a product which is nicely painted from outside. Okay, then there are so many other features besides the basic performance features. You have so many others. So there is an interior, there is a upholstery, okay, lining, and seat covers, nice seat covers. There is the floor carpeting, and a nice dashboard with so many different indicators, the speedometer and the fuel gauge and all those things. Okay, so this is the actual product. And then there are indicators, and then there are power windows, and there is an air conditioner and the stereo system. So this is what normally every car has, whether it's a Maruti Alto or a BMW or an SUV, whatever you're buying. These are the things that are always present. Okay, so that is what we call the actual product. And then there is the third level, which we call the augmented product. This is more like the other benefits that the manufacturer offers along with the product, like 5-year free servicing, okay, and the free insurance, and some kind of a membership of some club. If that is what goes with very, very exclusive kind of brands. Okay, so by purchasing that particular brand, you become automatically entitled to certain benefits at certain level, because then they call you some kind of a club member, whereby you get so many other benefits which may not directly related to your product, but that's what this is what we call augmented product. Okay, so this the same concept can be extended to many other different businesses. Say for example, in banking, you open a savings account and they give you a debit card, along with that, so that you are able to withdraw money or transfer funds from one person to another anytime you want. So that's the core product. That is what everybody gets. But apart from that, now many banks, they also offer a demat account, a trading account, whereby you can invest, you can buy shares, you can invest in mutual funds, right? And then they also offer you a credit card. They also offer you certain loans at concessional rates, right? And then there is also some relationship manager who calls you from time to time and informs you about certain new schemes and investment opportunities. Okay, so these are all the augmented products. And then if you are really a very high net worth individual, a very rich person, to put it bluntly, then they are more than willing to offer you even more exclusive kind of services. Okay, so these are the augmented products, right? So this is the general concept about the 3 levels of products. Now, basic philosophy is guiding the marketing management. Marketing management basically, guys, is described as a process of creating, building, and maintaining beneficial products. Okay, now we will be talking about the various different concepts in marketing, how they evolved over time. Okay, over the last more than 100 years or so, the concept of marketing has kept on changing, and we'll be taking a look at how it has changed, how it has evolved. But basically, it is about creating products, building products, maintaining beneficial, a certain perception about that product. Okay. So marketing basically is not just about advertising and selling. It's also about creating the product. Basically, it starts with understanding the customer's needs, customer's problems, and coming out with certain kinds of products which solve those problems, right? So on the other hand, the management of marketing guidelines should be based on certain philosophies which could fulfill all marketing objectives of an organization. We'll be talking about it in greater detail, right? So first is the production concept. This was, came into existence many years back, maybe about 200 years back, when the Industrial Revolution took place. You all know about the Industrial Revolution. That was when in Europe, certain technologies were developed. Okay, machinery was created for the first time for production purposes. Manufacturing started taking place through machines. Okay, electricity was discovered. Wireless communication came to be discovered later on, telecommunication, then steam engines. So mechanization started happening, and that came into the industry. So mass production began. Everything came to be produced or manufactured on a mass scale in large quantities. And when you have started manufacturing something in large quantities, then your biggest challenge becomes to sell it. Okay, so when you have huge quantities to sell, then obviously you need to go out, you need to seek out newer area, newer territories, okay, and try and sell your product. Okay, so the initial concept which came along with the mass production was called the production concept. What it basically assumed was, the more you produce, okay, the more people will buy. Okay, so the focus was you produce as much as possible, whereby you can bring down your manufacturing cost. Okay, if you start manufacturing in large quantities, obviously your per unit cost will come down, whereby you will be able to bring down your prices. And if you bring down your prices, more people will buy your product. Okay, so based on this assumption, the entire focus was on manufacturing, was on producing as much as possible in as many quantities as possible, so that the cost can be brought down, right? But over a period of time, they realized that this doesn't always work like that. That means people don't buy something just because it is cheap. People won't buy something just because the price is lower than other manufacturers' price. They also look at certain other things like the quality of performance, the durability, okay, the reliability, of the manufacturer, the brand, these things also matter. It's not just the low price. Okay, so then came the concept of, sorry, I'm sorry, just a minute. Then came the product concept. Now, under this concept, what they believed was, if you make a better product, it will sell. Okay, so what this means is, there are so many manufacturers, there are so many competitors, they're all manufacturing similar kind of product. What you need to do is make a better product. Okay, so if you make a product which is better than your competitor in terms of performance, in terms of features, okay, in terms of looks, packaging, people will buy it. Even if you price it a little higher, people will still buy it, because provided it is superior. Okay, then the entire focus was on creating better products, adding features, making it look more attractive. Okay, so product, that's what we call product concept. The assumption was, if you have a better product, it will sell. But over a period of time, that also became outdated. They realized that this also doesn't always work. What you actually need to do is make selling efforts. You have, because there are so many competitors, so many identical products, similar products. What will you do? So obviously, you will need to hire more and more salespeople who will go out into the market, get hold of people, okay, and pitch them the products, sell them the products. Aggressive selling. Okay, go door to door, go from street corner to street corner, and try to get as many customers as possible, and sell. Okay, so that was the concept. That's what we call the selling concept. Yes, Kaushal Vaidya, you have raised your hand. Is there something you want to ask? I guess that was a mistake. Okay, Arvind in the chat box said that is the reason why Nokia and BlackBerry out of the market. In what context have you said this, Arvind?
Hello, yeah, good evening. Like you told, upgrading the features.
Yeah.
As
Yes,
per requirement.
It doesn't always work.
Yes.
Yeah. Correct. Because now, see, Nokia and BlackBerry example that you have given is correct to some extent, but then their stories are slightly different. Yes, partly this is the reason, but then there is also the reason that outside in the market, the technologies kept on developing, newer technologies kept coming in, and these brands, they missed out on that because they believe that what they have, the product that they have, or the technology that they have is superior anyway. So they need not look at any new technology. What we have is already very good. Okay, so that was the misunderstanding they had. That was miscalculation on their part, and that's the reason why they became irrelevant in the market. Okay.
Yes, they refused to upgrade to Android like
yes.
other Samsung and used to go for Android. But
in fact, even similar thing has happened in the past with the Swiss watch industry. Once upon a time, the Swiss watches were considered to be the best in the world. Okay, but those were the long time. Now, Swiss watches have been around since more than 200 years all over the world, and Swiss watches have always been considered to be superior in every respect, in terms of technology, in terms of quality. But then those were the times when there were analog watches, okay, only mechanized, and they continued to be, complacent about it. They continued to believe that they were superior and nobody can take over. But they missed out on the quartz technology. When the quartz technology came, the Swiss watch industry actually missed the bus. And then the Japanese came in the picture. Later, the Chinese came into the picture, and then they swept the market with much cheaper and much more accurate digital watches, which the public purchased in large quantities. And the Swiss watch industry, they continue to be there, but they lost that, that position that they once enjoyed all over the world. And in India, closer to India, another thing that happened was, once upon a time, this HMT watches was the biggest brand in the wristwatch market in India. They were the big player. They were the dominant player in wristwatches. HMT watches were the best. Okay, and it was a typical middle class young man's dream. If you passed SSC, if you passed matriculation, you were entitled to have a wristwatch of your own, and it was always the HMT watch. Okay, but later on, again, the same thing happened with them. They missed out on the quartz technology, and then Titan took over. So this is what happens. Again, coming to the selling concept, the belief.
Sir, I want to add one more thing.
Yes, please.
Actually, a similar thing is happening now in automobile industry also. The way this Elon Musk is coming with this new technology in automobile, electric as well as no, without driver, the vehicles are running like that. So now people or the automobile company, even the big automobile company like Mercedes-Benz and BMW, now they are thinking how to compete. Means they are now competing Elon Musk.
Correct.
So it is almost the same concept. They have now started upgrading themselves to a new technology, actually, completely.
Absolutely. Yes, they are forced to do that because otherwise they know that they will be thrown out of the
outdated.
Market. Yes. Okay, so coming back to the selling concept believed that all you needed to do was do aggressive selling. You need to go out and get hold of customers and sell. But over a period of time, that also has now become redundant. That also has become outdated. People have realized, or rather the marketing professionals have realized, that this also doesn't always work. What you actually need to do is understand what your customers actually need and how much they are willing to pay for it. Okay, so first and foremost task today for every marketer, for every manufacturer, for every businessman is to first study your customers, study your market, understand the market, understand your customers, understand their needs, their problems, their affordability. Accordingly, you make the products. Only then it will sell. Okay, so first you need to understand your customers. First, you need to understand their requirements, their problems, how best you can solve those problems. Accordingly, you make your product. Then it will sell. This is what we call the marketing concept. And this is what is being practiced in today's world. Okay, so marketing begins with identifying and understanding the customers. That's the reason why so many multinational companies across the world are spending crores of rupees and dollars on market research. Market research is all about understanding what the customers desire, how much they are willing to pay for it, what is it that they like, what are their dreams, what are their aspirations, okay, what are their preferences. This is the marketing concept. And that marketing concept continues to be there, but now it has gone one step further, what we today called societal marketing concept. Societal marketing concept is nothing but doing your business, conducting your business, making products, okay, and selling them, but at the same time keeping in mind what is in the best larger interests of the society and the community and the country. Okay, that is the societal marketing concept. So you do your business, you manufacture products, but at the same time ensure that the products that you manufacture are not damaging to the environment, they are not damaging to the health of the consumers. Okay, your manufacturing processes are clean, they do not give out any kind of toxic residues or smokes, they do not pollute. They do not pollute water. They do not cause any injury or hazardous. Okay, so that is called the societal marketing concept. Right? You are being responsible towards the society, towards the community, and the entire focus is on trying to be a good corporate citizen, a responsible corporate citizen. Okay, any questions so far?
Sir, one question. I think I feel that the societal marketing, what we are talking about, this is similar to the sustainability concept.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Fine. Next. Now we talk about the environment, the marketing environment, the overall situation in which as marketers we are required to work. Now there are two levels of this environment. First is called the micro level. The next is the macro level. Micro level of environmental factors include those factors which affect your business, which affect your company directly. Okay, they are unique only to your company. They are not bothered with other companies, competitors, and other businesses. They are only affecting your company. What are those factors? They are the investors, the people who have invested in your business, your shareholders, the bankers, people who have lent you money. They are the investors. Your competitors, your distributors, the people who are selling your products. Okay, the wholesalers, retailers, or agents, or anybody, they are your distributors. Financiers, the people who have lent you money. Suppliers, the people who supply you with raw material, with labor, and other things that you require to run your business. And finally, most importantly, your customers, the people who buy your products. Now, these are the 6 micro environmental factors which directly affect your company on a day-to-day basis, right? Then comes the, yes, Vilas Shinde, you have raised your hand.
Why the company employee is not a part of the marketing environment?
Well, you know, there are people who believe employees also are part of the marketing environment, but they come into play when we are discussing the business environment. Right now, we are discussing only marketing related. Okay. Your marketing is directly related with your finances, the money that you have, give me a second. The money that you have, the customers, the competitors, distributors, suppliers, all that is, you know, affecting your marketing activities. Okay, now you may argue that what you say is partly correct. Employees also have a role to play in that. But then when that comes into play under discussion, when you are talking about overall business, not just marketing, but all the aspects of business, including HR and finance. Okay. Then comes the macro environment. Yeah, Umrani Pawar, you have a question? Okay, maybe by mistake. So the macro environment includes the demographic factors, economic factors, political factors, cultural, technological, natural. Okay, so all.
Hello. Microeconomics is a internal external factor, right?
Come again, sorry.
Internal external factors, economics.
Yeah, but we are not talking about economic factors, although these are economic factors. These are marketing factors. Okay, so, but yes, the macro factors are those factors which affect all businesses at the same time. Not just your company, not just your business, but many companies at the same time. Like demographic factors, basically demographic means the structure of the population in terms of age groups, education, rural, urban, male, female, all those factors, how your population is structured. So if you have, like in India, we have a very large number of percentage of youngsters in our population. So in certain other countries, the percentage of elderly people is higher. So all these factors, they have an effect on the marketing. Yes, those who have raised hands.
Sir, can we consider the coronavirus in this as a micro?
It's a macro factor, macro marketing factor. Yes.
It will come under natural, I guess.
It is partly natural. Yes, it will come under natural factors.
But it can affect all the companies.
All businesses or at the same time. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good.
It's a kind of disaster management.
Yes. So any kind of natural calamity like a tsunami or earthquake or a disease or anything, okay, it can affect the entire economy, entire businesses at the same time. So that these are macro factors. Micro factors are those which affect only your business. They are not concerned with other companies, other businesses. Okay. So,
excuse me, sir.
yeah, yes, please.
What about the share markets? It also affects all the companies. When share market goes down, so it mostly affects the companies, right?
Share market does not necessarily affect companies. It's the other way around. The company's performance affects the share market. You can say that.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, let me now, actually that is not part of the discussion, but still let me add something just for your information. The share price of a company going up and down doesn't really directly affect the company.
Yes, okay.
Okay, the company's business will continue. It is because of certain results or because of some factors, okay, likely to affect the company's business, that the share price gets affected. But if the share price of a company goes up, that particular company doesn't directly benefit in any way. It is the company's shareholders who may benefit, but not the company.
Okay, okay. It's a middleman effect.
Yes.
Sir, what about the cultural part? Means, is it related to the festival ends which are coming on that basis? Companies are
well, there are several things. Festivals is just part of it, but then there are certain traditions, there's certain beliefs. Okay, for example, in India, we have a very large number of vegetarian people. Okay, which is not the case in many other countries. Only in India, you have such a large population which is strictly vegetarian. So any company which is into food products, like companies like Nestle, companies like McDonald's, okay, they have to come out with products which cater to these people who are strictly vegetarian. Now, McD's or Pizza Hut, they don't have any vegetarian products in other countries or wherever they have come from, like in the US. Okay, but when they came to India, they realized that if they want to continue to do good business and generate volumes, they need to create some specific products for the vegetarians here. So that's a cultural factor that you need to keep into mind when you introduce your business in a certain area. Okay.
Government tax sections and policy which are referred for microeconomics?
Macro, yes. Yes.
Sir, a doubt.
Yes,
sir, can you please tell me the difference between democratic and economic?
See, demographic is a structure of the population. Okay, demographics means dividing the population in terms of male, female, okay, age group, how many children, how many youngsters, how many senior citizens, and how many people in rural areas, how many in urban areas, how many are literate, illiterate, how many are graduates, postgraduates, and so on. This data is called demographics.
Okay. Can be the rich and poor people with the part of demographic?
No, that is economic.
Economic.
Okay, so how many below the poverty line, how many above the poverty line, how many in incomes about 10 lakh per annum and higher, how many above 50 lakhs and higher, okay, and how many in business, how many in jobs, how many in labor, that's all that is economics. And what is the structure of your economy? Like, is your country's economy dependent on agriculture or industry or tourism? Okay, or IT industry, all that kind of thing are economic factors. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, two more people have raised hands. Please ask me quickly. Christopher.
Yes, sir. This technological and political. Political comes under all taxation and all. But,
no. Taxation comes under economic. See, political is basically about the nature of the government. Okay, like for example, whether you have a dictatorship or whether you have a democracy, okay, or you have a monarchy, okay, right, or you have a stable government or it is an unstable government, it's a coalition government, because all that, these factors, they affect the economic policies.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that all that comes under political. Yeah, who's next?
Technological has not.
Technological is about the level of technology that you have in your country. Like say, for example, the electrification, the highways network. the availability of IT services, the penetration of IT, the penetration of banking. Okay. All that. Now see, now really over the last 10 years, you may have noticed that the government of India is giving a lot of thrust on building highways network, the railway network, and rural electrification, ensuring that electricity reaches each and every village and town. Why? Because this in turn gives rise to higher economic activity. It helps more and more people earn their
to know about the all market and product and in market.
They are also encouraging more and more people to open bank accounts. Okay, Jan Dhan Yojana. The whole idea is to bring more and more people under the banking system, which will benefit everybody in the long run. So that will help the economic growth in the long run. So all that.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, let's move on, guys. So the 7 P's of marketing mix. Finally, these are the 7 decision areas which are required to be taken in all marketing activities. Now, first 4 are common for all types of industries, whether you are in manufacturing or whether you are in service industry. Okay. Say, for example, manufacturing is all these automobiles and textiles and food stuff. Everything is manufacturing. Okay, services like banking, travel, tourism, finance, then what else? IT,
Health department,
health services. Yes, health services, retail. So all these are service industries. Now, the first four P's are common for both manufacturing as well as service. What are those 4 P's? First is the product, second is the price, third is the place, that is distribution, and fourth is promotion. Your product, whatever you are offering to the market, the price at which you are offering it to the market, this is the second important decision. Third decision is how you are going to distribute. Basically, place means making the product available to your customers at the right place, at the right time, at the right cost. Okay, so there are many product categories where it is very essential that you ensure that your product becomes conveniently available to your customers at the nearest shop. Like, for example, in all FMCG industries, like Colgate, ITC, HUL, Procter & Gamble, these are the companies which make products, Patanjali also, they make products which are required by the people on a day-to-day basis. So their strategy is to ensure that all these products become easily available at all retail outlets conveniently for every customer. The customer should not be required to go far away places to buy it. It should be available to the shop which is nearest where the customer lives. That is place. And promotion is advertising, publicity, okay, and all those activities. That is promotion, creating awareness and creating desire in the minds of the people. So that is promotion. Now, these are the first 4 decision areas which are common for all businesses. Next comes the 3 P's which are unique only to the service industry. Okay, like as I said, banking, finance, health services, even salons and spas, right? Travel, tourism, hotel, restaurants, all this is service industry. Here, the 4th P that we are talking about is people. By people, what I mean is the people who provide the services. Okay, these are the people who come face to face with the customers. Say, for example, when you go to a spa or a salon, then there are some people, the employees of that place, who step forward, they greet you, they welcome you, they make you feel comfortable, and then they ask what exactly you require. You need a haircut, you need a facial. Okay, you go to a gymnasium, the person over there will ask you, what exactly is it that you want? You want to lose weight, you want to come into shape, okay, or whatever. So these are the people who interact with the customers. They matter a lot. Their training, their expertise, their communication, the way they present themselves to the people, everything has an impact on the satisfaction level of the customers. Okay, so the people. Next comes the process. Every work that is done at the workplace, whether it's in a restaurant, whether it's in a hospital or a clinic, all the activities there are pre-planned. Say, for example, in a hospital, there is an emergency ward where they bring in patients which are critical or which are accident victims. Now the staff over there in that emergency ward is well trained, and they have standing instructions about what is required to be done whenever the patient comes in, an injured person walks in. Okay, so for what is the first thing that is required to be done? Who is to be informed? What kind of medicines are to be applied? What kind of bandages are to be applied? What is to be, where is that person to be taken and everything? So this is process. When you go to a restaurant, you place an order for your food. Immediately the process begins. The order is communicated to the kitchen where the process is already set. The system is already set. All that the staff of the kitchen, each one of them knows what is required to be done, what is it that I need to do. So immediately they get going, and within 10 minutes, the dish is ready and served at your table so that you are happy. So this process is very important for the customer's happiness. And next comes physical evidence. Physical evidence is, in service industry, the biggest challenge for marketers is that there is no solid product. There is no tangible product. Okay, it's only a promise. When you are selling an automobile, you're selling a bike, when you're selling a property, you can actually show it to the customer. The customer, when the customer purchases a bike, he can actually take a test drive. He can sit on it, he can feel it, he can drive it, he can experience it. But that doesn't happen in a restaurant. It doesn't happen in a salon. Okay, when you go for a haircut, you actually don't have any idea about how that haircut is going to look for you. Okay, so they will take some time. But when you walk into a salon or when you walk into a restaurant, what is that? The first thing that you take in? You take in the interior. Okay, the furniture, the setting, the decoration, the interior. Okay, the curtains, the air conditioning, the music that is playing. All these things you observe, and it gives you a sense of assurance that I have come to a right place. Okay, the uniform being worn by the people, the overall equipment. Say, for example, when you go into a salon, there are different types of equipment that is already there. It is deliberately kept at the place so that whoever walks in first gets to see those machines, those equipments. That sight gives you an first assurance that this is a good place. This is a well-equipped, well-trained staff. Okay, this place is well-equipped. They have all the necessary machinery, tools to provide me. So I get an assurance that I'll get good service. When you go to a hospital, for example, when you go to a clinic, the cleanliness, everything is spick and span. You don't see any dirt lying around. You don't see any litter. Everything is clean, everything is smells good. Okay, that gives you a sense. And the staff, the nurses, the doctors, they are all wearing the uniforms and all the necessary tools and equipment that they have. So that gives you an assurance that it is a good place. These people are competent, that they have the right tools and equipment. So I'll get good service over here. That is what we call physical evidence. Same thing happens even when you go to a lawyer, for example. Lawyer legal service is also service. Okay, so when you walk into a lawyer's office, the first thing that you notice is big shelves full of thick books, legal books. Okay, so in the lawyer's chamber, in his office, the lawyer is sitting facing you. Behind the lawyer, what you get to see is all the shelves, the almirahs, full of books. They are kept there deliberately. Basically, they want you to see those books because that gives you an assurance that this guy has read all those books and he's an expert in this subject. Okay, so that is what we call physical evidence. So these 3 P's, like people, process, and physical evidence, are very critical, particularly in the service industry. Any questions here?
Sir, can we consider certification also in physical evidence, like ISO certification?
Very true. Absolutely. Very good point. Whether you go to a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer, you will see their certificates on display on the walls. Now, of course, it is mandatory by law also, they are required to display those certificates, but whatever it is, you're right, that's also physical evidence. It gives you an assurance that this person is qualified and he is licensed to practice. So I have come to the right place. Yes.
So does it count same for the architect?
Yes, true. Absolutely. You know, wherever you go, like in any professional office, like an architect, like a chartered accountant, a lawyer, doctor, you always see their certificates on display on the wall. So that's physical evidence.
How is physical evidence related to in architectural field? Like if we about construction management or construction side of
right.
it?
See, in an architect's office, you will also see besides the certificates, they also have certain models of some buildings that they are working on or they have done, or even some pictures of the buildings that they have done on the walls. Okay, you may have noticed in many, architects or even in builders' offices, you will see those pictures of the projects that they have done, the buildings and any housing or commercial projects they do. So that's also, or sometimes they even have models on display. So that's.
I have a question here. So in an architect's case, the physical evidence could also include any kind of award or certification they have received from some government body or
Yeah,
authority.
same applies to all professionals. All professionals. Whether it is awards, whether it is qualifications, any other extra certifications they have done, they want to display, they want to show. Basically, all that is physical evidence. Yes. See, the objective of physical evidence is to give an assurance to the customers that the people here are competent, that they have come to the right place, and they can expect very good, competent service. That's all. Okay. So let's move on to the next topic. Estimating future demand. In other words, we call this forecasting. Now, forecasting also happens to be one of the important functions of marketing, because depending on what forecasts you make, you prepare your marketing strategies. Okay, so there are certain products which are seasonal in nature. There are certain products which are sold all the year round, but then the demand for these products may fluctuate depending on several factors. Okay, so seasonal products like, woolen clothing, okay, or raincoats or certain types of shoes, they come into demand only in certain seasons. There are certain things, say for example, we are talking about cultural factors. Now, in India particularly, people prefer to make certain important purchases during festival times. Okay, any new car, new TV, new house, okay, such things are purchased usually around festivals, major festivals like Diwali, like Durga Puja, or like Pongal, Onam. Okay, so these are the occasions in different parts of the country. There are different such occasions which are considered to be very auspicious, and people prefer to make major purchases during those times. So these are the seasons during which one expects big turnover. Then there are certain wedding seasons. In India, you have wedding seasons, okay, during which certain categories of services and products are in great demand. Right. So based on these factors, you can estimate over the next 3 months, over the next 1 month or so, what is likely to be the demand level. Now, on the other hand, there are certain products whose demand will be constant regardless of whether it's a festival season or whether it's a winter season or summer season. Say, for example, toothpaste. Now, toothpaste is consumed around the year regardless of the season. Okay. Or maybe other things like shoes or certain things which are purchased on a day-to-day basis. People buy these things whenever they need. Whenever my old shoe becomes useless, I have to purchase a new shoe. I cannot wait till Diwali to buy a new shoe. Okay, so that's how it happens. So there are certain products which are subject to certain other factors. Okay, so and then there are economic factors. If there is an economic downturn, if there is now, for example, during the pandemic, during the lockdown period, there were lots of items for which there was no demand at all. So the businesses suffered to a great extent, right? So estimating of demand is very critical, and these are the various ways that marketers use to estimate the demand in the forthcoming period, like a survey of customers' intention. Market surveys are conducted. Customers are asked on a random sample basis, certain questions based on which you can guess what is likely to be the demand in the coming months. Okay, then sales force opinion, the field sales personnel on the ground, they have some very important inputs. Experts, experienced professionals, they can help you make certain estimates. Then you can also refer to previous year's figures during the same period, during the same months or so. And then there are certain market research methods, like market test methods. Test marketing is done in certain areas, depending on which you can guess what is likely to be the demand for a particular product in the coming months, and so on. Now, we need not go into this in greater detail, because that is covered in greater detail maybe in research methodology and market research kind of subjects. But what we need to really understand here is that forecasting happens to be one very, very important function of marketing. Now, what influences consumer behavior? Consumer behavior basically is the way people react to various factors, like price, like product, like celebrity endorsement. So what are the various reasons why people buy? As marketers, these are very critical questions. Okay, we need to understand what motivates people to buy certain kinds of products, to adopt a certain kind of a lifestyle. Okay, what is that the deepest desire of the people, the dreams? Okay, so what makes them go after certain kinds of brands and products? What are the reasons? You need to know. So consumer behavior happens to be one of the very important subjects in marketing. Okay, and I would really recommend strongly all students of marketing specialization to pay special attention to this factor, that is consumer behavior, because there is also an element of psychology, human psychology, which comes into play when people make certain purchasing decisions. Okay, now what are the factors influencing consumer behavior, particularly in buying situations? First is cultural factors. Okay, so cultural is basically about traditions, okay, your beliefs, religious beliefs, then religious beliefs, traditions, culture, many practices over a period of time. Say, for example, in India, people dress in a certain way. Again, that also differs from region to region. The traditional dress in Punjab is different. In Maharashtra, it is different. In Kerala or in Tamil Nadu or in Andhra, it is different. Okay, so that all has to do a lot with the climatic conditions. Even the food habits also change from region to region. All these are cultural factors. There are certain beliefs, there are certain traditions, there are certain practices. Okay, and there are certain environmental, that is climatic factors, which affect all these things. So first and foremost is consumer behavior. Sorry, cultural factor which affects consumer behavior. People react to, say, for example, the kind of dresses women wear. Okay, and then there are some people who disapprove of certain kinds of dresses. In certain regions, people don't like girls wearing jeans and skirts. It is frowned upon. Okay, so these are cultural factors, because it has a lot to do with your convictions, with your beliefs and value systems. Next is social factors. Okay, so we are influenced a lot by the society that we live in. Okay, the way our relatives, our neighbors, our colleagues, our friends, okay, what kind of things they use, what kind of homes they live in, what kind of cars they drive, what kind of holidays they go to. All these things, they knowingly, unknowingly, they have an effect on our decisions. Okay, the kind of people we move around with, the kind of people we socialize with, we learn a lot from them in terms of the way we dress, in terms of the way we decorate our homes. Okay, the kind of goods we have in our homes, the kind of washing machine and refrigerators that we buy. It is all influenced a lot by the what our friends are doing, what our neighbors are doing. These are all social factors. Third is personal factors. Okay, my age, my occupation, my education, my status in the society, the way I see myself, what kind of image I want to project to the world outside. Okay, so for example, normally if you see a person wearing a formal dress like a suit and a tie, you immediately form an opinion about that person to be a professional, to be a successful corporate professional or something like that. But on the other hand, if you come across a person who is wearing a kurta and a pajama, okay, immediately you will guess that this person is someone who believes in simple living, okay, or he is not so well off economically or something like that. So these are all personal factors. Okay, my income, my affordability, my general attitude towards other people and society at large, how I want to project my image, what kind of impression I want to create on people, all these are personal factors, and they affect the kind of things that you consume. And then there are psychological factors, the mental consciousness of a person that drives him or her to respond. There are some people who have a very strong desire to impress, to make an impression on other people, to get noticed. There are some people who always want to be noticed, to be appreciated. Okay, they always are hungry for appreciation. They always want somebody to tell them that you are looking so good today, you are looking like a hero. Okay, chha gaye, like that. So there are some people who have a very strong desire for that. On the other hand, there are some people who don't care whether anybody looks at me or not, whether anybody notices me, whether anybody appreciates me. I don't give a damn. These are all psychological factors. Yes, Sapna Bapat, you have a question?
Yes, sir. How personal factors are different than psychological factors? Psychological is again personal.
Yeah. Personal is basically sometimes out of compulsion. See, if I'm a jobless person, I don't have an income. Okay, obviously, I will try to live a frugal lifestyle. I won't spend a lot of money on things that I don't really need. I will only spend on things which are necessary for my survival, like basic food, clothing, and shelter. That's what I will focus on. I won't bother about, buying branded clothes in order to impress people, okay, or something. These are personal factors. My economic condition, okay, or certain value systems that I have. Suppose I am a person, I'm a Gandhian, okay, in beliefs. So I believe in simple living, high thinking. So I may have a lot of money, but still I believe in living a very, very simple life, living in a simple home, driving around on a bicycle or something like that. There are people who are like that. Okay. Outwardly, yes, they don't seem to be having a lot of money. They seem to be appear to be quite simple people. But then later it turns out that they do have a lot of money, but they have chosen to live this kind of a simple life. That is personal factor.
Okay.
Okay. Psychological factor is something that is beyond the control of a person. There are some people, as I said, who are always hungry for appreciation. Now, that's a psychological factor. There are some people who are always suspicious of others. Okay. Yes. So if you come across any such person and you try to be friendly with that guy, okay, you try to strike a conversation. If you meet somebody maybe at a party or at a social gathering or even at a bus stop, you try to talk to that person. Okay, that person immediately withdraws because he's suspicious. Why is this guy asking so many questions? Why is this guy trying to be so friendly? Iska kuch matlab hoga. These are all psychological people. Different people have these different kinds of attitudes. So some people are fearful. They are always suspicious about others. There are some people who are very friendly. They are open. Now, these are all psychological factors. There are some people, as I said, who are always looking to be noticed, to be appreciated. Now, these are the people who are posting their pics on the Facebook every day. So that, and they will count how many people have liked my photo. Okay, this is a psychological factor. I'm not saying there is anything wrong with that. I'm just pointing out this as a trait some people have. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Yeah.
A question here, sir.
Ajit.
Sir, a psychological factor may does such a person also come under such psychological factor who is very who wants to be at the top or be successful at whatever cost it needs.
Very true. Yeah, absolutely. There are some people who are hungry for position, high position. They want to be ahead of everybody else. You know, I'll give you a simple example. Like you may have come across some friend or some colleague you may be knowing who's always, even while climbing the staircase, they will jump 2 steps at a time because they want to be ahead of others. Now, this is very simple thing, but even there they want to be ahead. Okay, if they are driving on the road unnecessary for no reason at all, these people, they will try to overtake the vehicle in front of them. अब जल्दी में कहीं जाना नहीं है, कहीं जल्दी पहुंचने की कोई जल्दी नहीं है, कुछ अर्जेंट नहीं है, but the moment you see a vehicle ahead of you, you want to overtake it. This is a psychological factor. You cannot explain this कि ऐसा मुझे क्यों होता है, लेकिन होता है. So by hook or by crook, they will try to overtake and get in front. Again, the next vehicle that is in front of them, they will try to overtake that also. क्योंकि मुझे आगे रहना है. You are getting my point? Even while climbing the stairs also, they will try to jump and move ahead because I want to be at the top before everybody else reaches. And this is with even grown-ups. I'm not talking about only children. So anyway, point is, consumer behavior studies have a lot to do with human psychology. Okay, and it is very important for marketers to understand, because that, you know, gives you an insight about what motivates people to go for certain types of brands. Okay, now why do so many people buy iPhones? In fact, India, I'm told, is one of the largest markets for iPhones in the world. The highest number of iPhones are sold in India. Now, what could be the reason? Is it because they really need iPhones? No. Many people, in fact, I know, they are buying iPhones because they want to impress others, nothing else. Tell me if that is wrong. If you disagree with me, tell me.
The status symbol.
Status symbol. Okay. But then the Apple company has identified this as one of the important traits in Indian consumers. So they are focusing a lot on Indian market because they have noticed that Indian consumers have a very strong desire for, you know, status symbols. Anyway, let's move on. Besides individual buying behavior, even companies, organizations also have certain buying behavioral traits. Okay, and sometimes they differ from company to company. Organizational behavior or buying behavior is different from individual buying behavior. Individual buying behavior is driven a lot by emotions. As I said, we buy so many things just to impress people, not necessarily because we need those things. We buy many things to impress others. But organizations don't buy things to impress others. Organizations buy things only when they need them, and only to the extent that they need them. Okay. So characteristics of buying, organizational buying. Organization buying is in large quantities. Also, the number of organizational buyers may be less, but the quantities in which they buy is very large. Okay, so large orders and less frequent buying. They don't buy every day unless it's a, you know, raw material which is required on a day-to-day basis, or that is what they might buy frequently. But apart from that, other things that the organizations need, like equipments, like computers, okay, like machinery. Now, these things are not purchased very frequently. Second, there are strong relations between buyers and suppliers, mostly in B2B business, it is business to business. In organizational buying, the relationship between buyer and seller is more frequent because the business continues. The transactions are done again and again between the same parties. That doesn't necessarily always happen in retail purchases, like in our individual buying. Today we may buy from this shop, tomorrow we may buy from another shop. But in business, usually the buying selling happens on a continuous basis. Then there is professional purchasing. By professional purchasing, what I mean is when organizations buy things, the purchaser has complete knowledge about the thing that they are buying. If they are not expert, they will hire an expert or a consultant who will help them make the right decision. Okay, now as individuals, when we buy things for ourselves, we don't have much knowledge about things that we buy. Okay, guys, please mute your mics. You can unmute yourself only when you need to talk to me. Okay, so there are so many things about which we don't have an expertise, we don't have knowledge. Like we buy automobiles, but many of us don't understand a lot about automobiles. We only know that if I press this button, this will happen. If I press that button, this will happen. That's all we know. But we don't know anything about what happens inside that machine, how the process takes place. We don't know. But in organizational buying, the buyers, they have complete knowledge about what exactly they want and what the technology is. And finally, the demand from organizational customers is derived demand. Now, it's very important for us to understand this concept of derived demand. Derived demand means the demand for any equipment or raw material depends on the demand for the finished product. For example, Maruti Udyog manufactures automobiles. For manufacturing of automobiles, one of the biggest raw material that they need is steel. Okay, and they buy steel from the suppliers of steel, right? Now, how much steel Maruti will buy will depend on how many cars they expect to sell. And how many cars they expect to sell will depend on the demand for their cars. So this, in other words, means the demand for steel will be determined by the demand for cars. That is the finished product. This is what we call derived demand. The demand for steel is derived from the demand for cars. If the demand for cars is going up, Maruti will buy more steel. Tomorrow, if there is a slump in the market, there is a depression, there is a recession, the demand for the cars goes down. Obviously, Maruti will cut down on its production, and thereby the demand for the steel will also go down. So that means the demand for steel is derived from the demand for cars. Understood? Any questions? I guess not. Okay, next. Market segmentation also happens to be one of the important functions. Segmentation, targeting, positioning. These are the next level steps. First, you need to divide your market into various segments. Then you need to decide out of these so many segments, which is that segment that I will focus on. किसके लिए मैं product बनाऊंगा? किसके लिए advertisement करूंगा? For example, now please pay attention. HUL is a company which manufactures two brands of toothpaste. One is Close Up, the other is Pepsodent. Okay. Now the company manufacturing these toothpaste is the same, but the targeting is done towards different segments. For example, Close Up is targeted towards youth, that is the urban youth. Now, important thing to notice here is that toothpaste is toothpaste. Okay, whether it is all what these companies do is they give a different look, they change the color, they change the texture, okay, and they give it a different name, different packaging, and they target it to different segments. So Close Up is targeted towards urban youth. So the advertisement, the overall messaging, everything is done keeping in mind the target audience. So if you notice carefully in all the close-up advertisements, they show young boys and girls dancing, enjoying, and coming close to each other. The message is that the breath is always so fresh that you can come very, very close to each other. Okay, that is the only thing that they talk about. They don't talk about kitanu, dato ki sadan, and what else, the gums and the diseases or anything. They don't talk about it at all. The only thing that they talk about is freshness. That's all. Okay. On the other hand, Pepsodent from the same company, the target is small kids. So there, the entire advertising messaging is different. There they say, ये कीटाणुओं के साथ 24 घंटे ढिशुम ढिशुम करता है. See the language. The language is the kind of language which appeals to the small kids. 24 घंटे ढिशुम ढिशुम करता है. They don't say लड़ता है. They say ढिशुम ढिशुम करता है. Now this is the kind of wording which hits the heart of the youngster, the children. Okay, this is how segmentation and targeting is done. So first is geographic segmentation. Here you divide the market in territories: north, south, east, west, or state-wise, maybe Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Andhra, Telangana, and Tamil Nadu and Kerala, whatever. This is geographic segmentation. And based on that geography, you may be required to adopt different marketing strategies, selling strategies, schemes, promotional schemes. Again, because in India, in a country like India, different territories, they have different festivals, different traditions, different customs. So accordingly, the marketing strategies may also need to be modified from area to area. Okay, then here comes demographic segmentation. I have already explained that. It is about the structure of the population. So you divide the population based on age, income, gender, social class, or young generation, older generation, senior citizens, and so on. Okay. Next comes psychographic segmentation. It is more like lifestyles. Okay, personality, values. Okay, so more like people who are traditional, people who are modern, people who are conservative, people who are highly religious. Okay, people who are vegans, vegetarians. So these are all psychographic segmentations. Then comes behavioral segmentation. So there are people who look for benefits, who look for discounts. There are people who are loyal to certain brands. Okay, there are people who are not frequent users, or there are people who are very, very frequent users. Okay, so see, some people, they love traveling. They travel a lot. Okay, every year they will go on a holiday to some new destination. On the other hand, there are people who don't travel. They will go on a holiday or maybe on a long travel once in 5 years or so. Okay, so that's a behavioral segmentation, behavioral trait, right? Any questions? Once you have segmented the market, you do the targeting. Okay, now then you decide which particular segment I'm going to focus on. So on one hand, you have mass marketing, which is undifferentiated. A brand like Colgate, okay, or Patanjali, they don't go for any particular segment. They are talking to the entire population. Their products are for all ages. Okay, so Colgate toothpaste is for everybody: rich, poor, rural, urban, old, young, men, women. Everybody can use a Colgate toothpaste. So that is undifferentiated marketing, mass marketing. But then you have differentiated marketing. Okay, so you concentrate on only one particular segment. So like I said, the close-up toothpaste only for urban youth, Pepsodent only for small kids. Okay, then there are even in automobiles, you have certain brands of like Scooty, which are made only for women, working women or young students. This is segmented marketing, differentiated marketing. Then there is niche marketing, very small section of the population for whom you make a product. okay, and you pitch it to them. Like for example, you have created a product like now you have in the markets, you have diapers for old people, diapers for senior citizens. That's a niche market. Okay, you have created a product specifically for a certain segment of the population, which is not very large. Okay, but it's niche. This is what we call niche marketing, concentrated marketing. And then there is micro marketing, which goes even further than niche, which normally you don't find any examples right now. No example of micro marketing comes to my mind, but it is, you know, further narrowed down version of niche marketing. Yes.
Can I give an example?
Yeah.
Micro marketing would be something like today's digital marketing that happens, which is targeting. You have geo targeting or you have geo fencing. So we target only one specific building or one specific area, only the female population, only the male population of a certain age group. That is called micro marketing.
Maybe. Yeah, who has written this? Mukesh Kumar. Only through invitation. What was in what context? Where do you see this? Mukesh Kumar Dubey, you have written in the chat box. In what context do you find this? I guess he's not there. Okay, anyway, let's move on. Okay, he says few products are especially designed for a segment. Yes. Well, yeah, maybe. Immediately what came to my mind was some customized automobiles for handicapped people, something like that. You can say that. I'm not sure, but I think that can be considered as micro marketing. Okay, let's move on. When we formulate strategies, you know, strategies are formulated depending on the market conditions, your position in the market, the competitors, what they are doing, and all that kind of thing. You decide on a certain strategy for the next year, for the next coming period, or something like that. Okay, so if you are like Michael Porter is an author who has identified these generic strategies depending on the market conditions and whom you are targeting. Say, for example, if yours is a very broad target, it is not concentrated on any particular segment, but for the entire market, okay, then you can adopt cost leadership for competitive advantage. Okay. Because you believe that if I can offer my product at a price which is lesser than the competitor, I may be able to attract some business, some customers to myself. Okay. If you have a, broad target, you can also try differentiation. Differentiation is basically trying to add certain features to your product whereby it stands apart. It is seen as having certain things which are different from others. Yes, Mr. Prasanna, you have a question? Prasanna, you have raised your hand. Okay, maybe by mistake. So differentiation is where you try to make your product look slightly different from others. Okay, it's the same way like when you see in a movie, when there is a dance sequence, when the heroine and 50 other girls, they are seen dancing together. The heroine's dress is always different from the rest of the girls. Okay, the other 50 girls may be wearing white dress, all of them the same identical white dress, and the heroine's dress is blood red, so that she immediately gets noticed. This is what we call differentiation. Try to get noticed, try to stand apart, add a certain feature or some such quality to your product which can be shown as something that is extra, something that is different. You know, in FMCG you see there are so many products who claim to have tulsi or chandan or neem, okay, made especially from neem. Okay, saw nimbu ki shakti. What is this? This is trying to differentiate from others. The product is identical, the function that it performs is almost the same like every other, but then in what way am I different? So in my product I have the qualities of neem and tulsi. Okay, so maybe they are trying to give you an impression that this adds some kind of a great advantage to the product as compared to the competitors. So this is differentiation. Okay. Yeah, Vishal Kharat.
Yes, sir. Sir, monopoly product also come under this?
Under what?
Under differentiated products, that's special product, different products.
When there is a monopoly, you don't need to differentiate. What do you mean by monopoly? Monopoly means you are the only manufacturer. There is no competitor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you don't need to differentiate. Differentiation comes only when there are so many competitors and you want to look different.
Okay.
Yes.
So like a perfect competition market?
Yes, you can say that. Yeah, Mr. Gangadhar. Mr. Gangadhar, you have raised your hand. Okay, maybe by mistake. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please be careful about pressing certain buttons because then gives me an impression that you want to say something. Okay. Yeah. When your target is narrow, when you're focusing on one particular segment, okay, then you go for similar kind of a cost leadership, but it is more focused, keeping in mind that particular segment's unique characteristics in terms of their paying capacity, in terms of their traditional outlook. Say, for example, you are targeting rural audiences. Rural audiences in India are generally, more highly conservative, highly suspicious about certain products. So they need a lot of convincing and a lot of communication in order to make them understand the benefits of the product and so on. And then in order to attract them or give them an added, benefit, then you also try to reduce the price to make it look more attractive. So this is what we call focused cost leadership and focused differentiation. You try to create differentiation, again, keeping in mind that particular segment's unique requirements or concerns. Okay. Anyway, the objective here is to just to understand the basic concept, not to go into much detail because we don't have the time. We are already we have run out of time. So try to cover all the points. Okay, so there are so many ways you can expand your market. Okay, first is expansion through concentration. Now, what does this mean? So you try to add new categories new products to your existing product portfolio. For example, Bajaj Auto. Bajaj Auto specializes in two-wheelers. Bajaj Auto has not yet moved into cars. Okay, they are an automobile company, but they have always stuck to two-wheelers and three-wheelers. Yes, auto rickshaws also. But they are known for two-wheelers. Earlier, they were made scooters. Now they are making motorcycles, right? Now, what they do is they keep expanding. They keep increasing their market or volumes, but they have stuck to only motorcycles. They are adding new lines, new models of only motorcycles, right? So this is what we call expansion through concentration. You stick to your core product category. You don't diversify into other product categories. Say, for example, Mahindra and Mahindra, they were earlier into only Jeeps and tractors. But today they have moved into passenger cars also. Okay, and they have also moved into two-wheelers. But their venture into two-wheelers has not really worked out very well for them. But then they have tried to diversify, expand through diversification. The third point here, expansion through diversification. Try to get into different product categories. Bajaj Auto is an example of expansion through concentration. Stick to one product category and increase the volumes. Try to create newer models of the same product category. Expansion through integration is getting into related product lines, but going a certain level below or above. For example, today MRF is a company which manufactures tires, and they supply these tires to other companies which manufacture two-wheelers and four-wheelers. Right. Now, tomorrow, if MRF themselves decide to start manufacturing automobiles also, okay, they will think we have been making tires, why don't we make cars? And they set up an automobile plant of their own. This is called forward integration. Vice versa, tomorrow Maruti Udyog, which buys tires for their cars from MRF and from Apollo and others, they say one day, why don't we manufacture tires ourselves? Okay, so let us set up a tire factory of our own. This is called backward integration. So anyway, they are expanding, they are increasing their business, they are diversifying, but it is called integration, either forward integration or backward integration. Okay, diversification I have already explained. Expansion through cooperation. You join hands with other companies. You enter into some kind of an alliance, not to be confused with mergers or acquisitions. This is just joining hands. Okay, maybe for marketing purpose, for distribution purpose or whatever, but that is called expansion through cooperation. Okay, it could be joint venture like a Hero Honda. Okay, so that is called expansion through cooperation. Then there is expansion through internationalization. So you go global. Okay, you were exporting, you can set up a plant in another country, right? You can buy some global brands. All that is internationalization, globalization. And finally, expansion through digitalization. This applies particularly well in the service industry. So, for example, if you are into banking, financial services, insurance, mutual funds, a lot of business today is being done through digitalization. Okay, now all these businesses, all these industries, they are expanding through the net, online, through digital media. Okay, so these are the various markets expansion strategies. Again, please understand the objective is to understand the basic concept, not going into greater depth. Okay, it also brings us to another ANSOF's product market growth strategy matrix. Okay, so here we have 4 quadrants and on 2 different parameters like existing products and new products, existing market and new market. Okay, so you already have an existing product and you have an existing market. You want to expand within the same, with the same kind of products in the same kind of market. So that is called market penetration. So what you are trying to do is trying to increase your current market share. So there are 10 other competitors with you in the same market. Okay, and your market share is say 5% at present. Okay, in the overall total sales, your share is 5%. You want to increase it to 7%. So you will obviously be required to attract customers from your competitors. For that, you need to go on an aggressive marketing, advertising, and sales promotion campaign in order to attract customers from your competitors and increase your market share in the existing market. Market is the same, you only want to increase your share in the market. This strategy is called market penetration. Okay, now in the existing market, you want to expand, but by introducing a new product. Okay, this is called product development. Now, you have an existing product. You don't want to go for a new product development, but you want to enter a new market, a new territory where earlier you did not have a very strong presence. Say, for example, your product is very popular in Maharashtra and Gujarat. Now you are thinking of expanding into, say, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so you set up distribution systems, you start advertising, you start offering some promotional schemes and discounts to the customers over there. Okay, so what you're doing is you have the same product, but now you want to enter into a new market. This is called market development. And the fourth strategy, where you have new markets, and in the new market you want to introduce new products, that is called diversification. Okay, So you have already, say, for example, a company like TVS Motors, they also made motorcycles, but earlier all their motorcycles were made keeping in mind the middle-aged consumers and youngsters. They came out with a vehicle which was exclusively meant for women. Okay, or they may also tomorrow get into manufacturing some auto parts or auto maybe even four-wheelers. That will be known as diversification. Okay, and entering a new market. So I hope the concepts are clear. Any questions so far? Yeah, Mr. Gangadhar, you are right. Colgate, differentiated product like salt, charcoal. These are very good examples you have pointed out. Trying to differentiate from others. So my toothpaste has got salt. मेरे toothpaste में नमक है. मेरे toothpaste में charcoal है. Yes, these are the differentiation strategies. Trying to differentiate, look different from others. Yeah.
Sir,
okay.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Sir, I am Santosh Mishra. Actually, sir, I want to know diversification can be a totally different product. For example, as you are explaining, HUL having some Colgate, right? It is a basic toothpaste. Then they integrated to charcoal, then neem.
Yeah.
They have a wide range of products varied from different category.
Yeah.
But if just for example, it is going to a completely new product, for example, that a mouth cleaner, I forgot that.
Yeah, mouth freshener or yeah.
That I forgot the name. So that dentist normally recommend to clean the mouth if you have plaque and all these things. Plaque remover kind of thing.
Correct.
That is a all total different kind of category of product.
It is not entirely different. What we call it is related diversification. Related diversification matlab you are in a particular category of products and you introduce a new product which is different, but it is in the same category. For example, the example that you gave, now Colgate is into toothpaste, which is in business terms, it is known as oral care. Okay, oral care business, oral care market. Now, this liquid that you talked about is also an oral care product. Although it is not a toothpaste, it's a different product, but it's an oral care. So it is related diversification. Okay.
So if, for example, tomorrow HUL decide to go with diaper or something like that, that will be completely new for them, then it will be
that is
diversification.
Unrelated diversification. Yes.
Unrelated. Okay.
Yes.
Understood. Sir.
Okay. Now, Dettol, for example, for years earlier, they were into that liquid, Dettol liquid, which was supposed to be a disinfectant, very powerful disinfectant, very popular product. Then they went into they went into a soap. They started manufacturing Dettol soap. Okay, which they again claimed that it was a disinfectant and everything. Now, during the pandemic, they came out with this
sanitizer and hand wash.
Sanitizer, yeah. So all these are related diversifications. Okay. Now, Nirma came out with earlier. They had started with that detergent. Washing powder. Okay. Then they came out with a beauty soap. Now, still it is in the soap category. Okay. But then they started a management institute, which is unrelated diversification. Okay. So these are examples. It could be related, it could be unrelated.
Okay, understood, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, this BCG matrix is what we call portfolio management, product portfolio. This applies to companies which have multiple products, and the company sometimes from time to time they need to check which of the products are doing good, which are not doing so good. Okay, which are the products which need to be worked upon or invested further, which are the products which need to be abandoned, disbanded. Okay, for that this BCG matrix is used. Now, of course, this BCG matrix is considered to be outdated. It is not used any longer, but to understand the concept, it is used still in all management schools. Basically, there are two parameters. One is the market growth rate, the rate at which the overall market is growing. And your companies or your particular products relative market share in that market. Okay, so on these two parameters, the overall product portfolio is categorized into 4 quadrants. First, on the upper right side, you have the quadrant which is known as the question mark. Now, this question mark basically stands for suspense. Here, you have mostly all the newly introduced products about which there is suspense. We don't know whether they will really click in the market, whether the customers will like them, whether these products will have a good growth in future. Right now, we are not sure because these are new. Okay, so right now there is a lot of uncertainty, lot of instability. Okay, so we are waiting and watching. These are the question marks. Then there are, out of these, there will be some products which will click with the customers. They will be liked by the markets. They will become popular, and through word of mouth and or through publicity, their sales will start growing. Okay, now these will come in the upper left quadrant, which is known as stars. Now these are the products which are now showing some promise for the future. These are the products which are seen as the future, the products which will be bringing in a lot of good business for the company in the coming years. So these need to be focused on. These need to be invested further. These need to be improved upon. Okay, so these are the stars. Now the company will spend more money on their promotion, on making these products a little better, add some features to them. Okay, so that they continue to grow in popularity and in sales. Okay, so these are the stars. Then over a period of time, these stars will turn into cash cows. Cash cows means a stage will come when the product will be in top gear. Means it will continue to sell without any effort required, without any great push. The product is selling on its own. Okay, so now the company doesn't need to invest or spend a lot of money on its further development or promotion or advertising or anything. The product has its own customer base, a steady market share, and it is selling. Okay, so this means it's called a cash cow. And then there are products which have failed. Okay, or they used to be cash cows once, but now they have gone into decline and they have become outdated in the markets. They are not liked any longer, or they have failed. They were earlier question marks. They did not click. They did not work. So they have gone into becoming dogs. Now, why the dog? Why the cash cow? Somebody tell me why the word cash cow? Why not call it horse? Why not call it elephant? Why the cow? And why the dog?
Sir, cow is like giving you milk continuously, maybe
yes,
for 8-9 months time. And dog is likely to consume from your earning or something like that, but giving no return on that. Actually.
Yes, Mr. Mishra, and Mahesh Kumar Dubey also said the same thing. A cow is an animal which is very low maintenance. Okay, you don't have to spend a lot of money. All it eats is grass. Okay, and it gives out milk, a lot of milk. Okay, it eats only grass, which is a very low cost kind of a raw material. And apart from that, you don't have to spend a lot on its care and its health and all. It takes care on its own. It grazes itself in the fields, and it gives you a lot of milk. So that's why it is these such products which don't need to be a lot of maintenance or don't need to be promoted or anything. They are selling on their own and generating profits for the company. They are called cash cows. A dog, on the other hand, is an animal which yeah, Zubeda, you want to say something?
Sir, the concept of cash cow is it that they have a high income and it goes on like for some time and then it becomes low, or it continues to become?
No, there is nothing to do with going low or anything. Yeah, but as I said, the maintenance is very low. A cow is an animal which requires very low maintenance. Okay, and it gives high output. It gives you high
And
output.
sir, question mark. Okay. And question mark?
Question mark is, yeah, somebody needs to turn off their mics. Okay, question mark is a dog. A dog is an animal which is high maintenance. And it doesn't give you anything or except love. A dog loves you a lot. Okay, but apart from love, it doesn't generate any income for you. It doesn't give you milk. It doesn't give you any kind of cash or nothing. It doesn't give you any profit. It only gives you love. प्यार से पेट नहीं भरता. Okay, business की दुनिया में प्यार का कोई मतलब नहीं है. The only thing that matters there is money, profits. Okay, so all those products which have failed, okay, and which are of no use to the company, they are called dogs. That's why. Although personally, if you ask me, I love dogs. Dog is a very noble animal. But in business, okay, finally, all that matters is money. Okay, Vishal Khara says cows milk product giving many products which we can store for a long time. Ghee, butter. Yes, yes, you're right. Aha, dog gives us protection. Yeah, theek hai. But then at what cost? That also is a question. Anyway, let's not get into that debate because we are running out of time. Whether a dog is good or not, I believe personally, as I said, dog is a lovely animal. I love dogs. Okay, but business is business. Anyway. Yeah. So we now come to the concept of, now we are almost coming to the end. We are coming to the concept of product lines, product depth, product width. Okay, I'll just quickly show you through this example of Hindustan Unilever. They have many product lines. Say, for example, in personal wash, that is soaps, they have so many different brands. Now, this is one product line. In that, you have Lux, Lifebuoy, Liril, Hamam, Breeze, Dove, Pierce, Rexona. This is all one product line that is called personal wash. Then you have another product line which is called laundry, in which you have brands like Surf Excel, Wheel, and Rin. Then third product line is skincare, hair care, oral care, deodorants, tea. Okay, now see how diversified the entire product portfolio is. They have so many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 product lines. Right? Now all these are product lines. Now within every product line, they have several products, several brands. This is called the depth of the product line. Okay, how many brands you have in every product line is called the depth of the product line. And you will see the personal wash category is the deepest. Okay, and all these product lines and the various brands put together, okay, is called the width of the product mix. How wide is your product mix? The bigger, the better. Okay, when you have multiple product lines and multiple brands, your company is seen as a very, very stable company, because, you know, when you have so many products, so many brands, and so many different markets and customers you are serving, then obviously you are foolproof, in the sense one category may not do well, one or two brands may not become successful, but others will become successful. So your business is quite a lot stable, right, and secure. So having multiple product lines and having multiple or a very big product width is considered a very desirable kind of a situation for a company. Okay, so yes, Mr. Mukesh Kumar, you are serving all different kinds of customers, and you are always also into various different market categories, market segments. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Nitin, you have a question?
No question. So I was just going to ask, like ITC was into cigarettes earlier. Now
yes,
it's got FMCG.
Absolutely.
So
very
product
good.
Yes. Which has increased.
Yeah, today they are into FMCG, consumer goods. They are into food and beverages. They are into stationery also.
Yeah,
and they are also into hotels and hospitality, you know, ITC Welcome Group. So they are very well diversified.
One of their products, if it's not doing good, like say their hotel is not doing good,
yeah,
the will complement for that.
Yes, that's the point. That's why I said, no, when you are very well diversified group, then obviously you are protected against losses in some categories, because you can always make profits in some other categories, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then that brings us to the close of this presentation. Any further questions, guys? Mr. Arvind, you said they are in the IT industry. You mean the ITC?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I was not aware of that. Thanks for bringing that. They also have an IT company. Okay.
Yeah, like we have a TCS, right? The same thing, they have ITC also.
I see. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other observations?
Hello, sir.
Haji.
I have one question.
Yes, please.
Nestle and Hindustan Unilever.
Yes. So, what is the question?
ITC, Nestle, and Hindustan Unilever. Which brands? I mean.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your question.
Sir, I'll launch the polls now.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please answer these questions. According to which concept of marketing, customers will purchase the products which are easily available at low prices?
Session was good. Session was good. Oh, bye.
Request everybody to answer the question quickly. Okay, anyway, I think I'll give the answer. The correct answer is production concept, guys. The idea is the more you produce, the lesser will be your cost of manufacturing, and thereby you will be able to sell at low prices. And if you are able to sell at low prices, more products will be sold. That is the basic understanding, which is outdated again. Yeah. Next question, please. Dash type of research deals with why, what, and how questions about consumer behavior. Quantitative, qualitative, experimental, none of the above. Okay, the correct answer is qualitative. 43% have answered correctly. Quantitative is about how much will be sold, how much will be purchased. Qualitative is why and how. Okay, next question, please. Comments and suggestions of your friends and family during purchase of new mobile comes under personal factors, social factors, cultural factors, technological factors. Okay, the correct answer is social factors. Friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, they all are social factors. Next question, please. Online retailers like Flipkart and Amazon are differentiating themselves from other retailers on the basis of channel differentiation, personal differentiation, brand differentiation, product differentiation.
I have not received the poll yet.
I'm afraid, what are you saying? You have not been able to see. Okay, yes.
Yes, I didn't get this poll.
You didn't understand the question, you mean?
No, I didn't get it only.
Okay, you're not able to see. I don't know. Then there's some technical problem. Okay, the correct answer is channel differentiation. Majority of you have given the correct answer. Yeah. Next question, please. Reliance is following dash strategy by entering into a variety of businesses. Market penetration, product development, market development, diversification.
Sir, why not online, like Flipkart and Amazon? Why they don't comes under the brand variations? Because they have multiple of brands. They are bringing it to a single platform.
Yeah, but then their biggest USP, the reason why people are buying from them is because they are delivering at the doorstep.
Okay.
Okay, they are selling the same brands which are available even otherwise in the market, in the retail shops also. But
okay.
what they are doing different is they are delivering it at your doorstep. You don't have to go to the shop. That is what they are offering. That's why people are buying from them.
Yeah, aggregator only. It's a e-com.
Yes. Yeah. True. Yes, the correct answer is diversification. Absolutely correct. 53%. Yeah. Next question. OTT services like Netflix, MX Player, Amazon Prime are in dash phase of product life cycle. Introduction, early maturity, early growth, late maturity. Okay, 50% have given the correct answer. It is early growth. They are in the early growth. Yeah. Yes. Any other questions? Any doubts? We are done with this session. Thanks a lot. You have been a wonderful audience. Hope to see you again in some other session. Are we done, ma'am?
Yes, sir, we are done. You can leave as well. I'll just launch 2 to 3 survey questions.
Fine, fine. Okay, then thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Have a good day.
Are we done?
Yeah, last question.
Can we leave now?
Yes, students, we are done. So I'll just end the session as well. Thank you so much for attending and happy Holi, everyone. Take care.
Same to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.